everyone, today we'll be running a short demonstration video for the face mask. This video will help you to prepare better for the mask making workshop that we're running soon, and I will give you a short explanation of each step and the list of items that you will need for the workshop. And also on my table right now you can see the mask that we're gonna make. This mask is a little bit different from what you probably have at home. I find this mask very convenient to wear, and also especially during winter time I like to wear it better. It has a nose flap right here. It stays above your nose, which also gives you extra room to breathe, and I personally find it more convenient to wear this mask, and you have like room to talk, and also it has this fitting at the chin, so it will also look better on your face. It's pretty simple to do. So for this mask you will definitely need to have elastic. I have already cut the elastic. You need about 6.5 inches, 2 pieces, and of course you will need to have fabric. As usually, like, it's better to work with 100% cotton, but in case if you don't have 100% cotton, your mask can be like 50% polyester, 50% cotton. It's also pretty breathable. And here are some samples of fabric that you can use for the mask. This fabric will be perfect for a child, and the main point is fabric has to be soft because it will be on your face, and the fabric hand should be nice and smooth, so when you wear it on your face it won't be itchy and it will be very comfortable. So pay attention on that. For example, this type of fabric I would not recommend because this has a little bit sewing on top, so it might cause some itching on your face later on. So try to choose something very smooth. This one will be actually very perfect. It's an old t-shirt that I had, and you can see I have already cut it for some face mask, and the touch of this fabric is very nice, so when I wear it on my face it's very comfortable. All right, so as I said, all you need is elastic and fabric, and of course some other sewing tools like a ruler in order to cut the right size of our fabric. Then I have some small scissors like this that I will trim my thread when I do sewing, and sewing machine, of course you will need that one, and some scissors. Also to make marks on the fabric, because we will definitely need to make some marks to cut the right shape for the mask. I recommend to use, this is the chalk, but maybe not everyone has a chalk. Then you can use a dry soap like this. In case if you don't have soap or chalk, you can use a pencil, but be very careful when you mark with a pencil on a fabric, because the pencil gets very hard to clean from the fabric. All right, I'll take this away for now. Here I drew on the paper what we need, what size we need for our mask. This is the average size. You can try this size for female, for male also, and for a child you will definitely need smaller size. So I would recommend for a child to try, especially to decrease this measurement, to go about 13.5 or maybe even 12.5. Yeah, I think for a child will be 12.5 better. This one you can decrease by, so you can use 8.5 instead. Okay, so here is the fabric I'll be working with. I will measure 14.5 by 9.5. You can also notice I work with the old scraps of fabric. This is the perfect way how to utilize the piece of fabric that you don't use anymore. So I'm measuring 14.5 from the top. I'm using pencil because this way you will see better. So here's my 14.5. So be patient, don't rush, because measurement is very important. If you cut correctly, then everything will go smooth and right. So I have 14.5 at the top. I just want to make sure that I have 9.5 width so that the fabric is enough. So basically just use this way to measure your fabric, and in order to save some time, I have already cut the fabric. It looks a little bit different than another one, but it's exactly the same measurement. It's 14.5 by 9.5. And now we need to cut the correct shape for our mask. I drew here the rectangle, and what we need to do now is, once we cut our 14.5 by 9.5, we need to fold it. When you fold it, do it on the right side. This is right side of the fabric. It is where you have all these prints, and this is wrong side of the fabric, because the wrong side will still stay inside and nobody gonna see it, and all sewing will be done on the wrong side as well. For example, this one that I was drawing on, this one is right side. You can see that print is brighter, and this one is wrong side. The print is not as bright and clear as on this side. Then, so basically take your fabric, fold it on the right side like this. So first we fold it horizontally, then we fold it again half, like this side, and we get this small rectangle again. So we have this piece right now, right? And it's important to do this step on the right side of the fabric. That's why just fold it half like this, and fold it again half like this. Now you got, like, you folded it 2 times, and you got here 4 layers of your fabric, and the corner is right here. The other edges are here. At this step, as I showed, make sure your corner is right here, and now you have to cut it. At the top, you need to measure from this corner to the left 2.5 inches. Then from this corner you measure up 2 inches and left 1.5 inches. So let's do this. Make sure that all lines are matching, the corners are matching. To help you not to move the fabric, you can use pins, and you can pin it because you're working with 4 layers of fabric. It's very possible that fabric will start to shift once you start cutting it. I'll take my ruler. From top I measure 2.5 inches, right? So I'm measuring from this corner to the left. Now I'm working with this corner. I measure up 2 inches. Make sure you're very precise, that you mark right at the edge. And I'm measuring this direction 1.5. Now I will use my bright marker all I need to do now is to connect those points. I have here the mark, I have here the mark, and I draw the line. This is what I need to cut. Now I connect these points below. This is what I need to cut. I will put some extra pins because I want to make sure that my lines are precise. So let's cut. In here. This is the shape that you need to get. As on my drawing, once you cut the upper corner and the lower corner, you will get this shape. And now you can unpin it. This is what you get. Now we can start sewing the mask. I just want to quickly explain you why we have this kind of shape. So basically, when we do the mask, we'll need to in the end, what's the result? The mask will be looking this way on your face. We will sew the bottom. This is where our chin, and at the top you can see that the length is it's pretty long, right? It is because we will fold it, and once we fold, we'll have this nose flap. So we'll have this nose flap, and we will sew this line, which will allow us to have to make it more comfortable at the chin. And basically this is the mask. So let's unfold it and start sewing. First step is to sew the chin line. As I said, we're working on the wrong side only because all sewing has to be on the wrong side, and in the end we will turn right side out and nobody will see our stitch lines. So we fold it this way first. Make sure that all lines are matching and use pins for that. Here is another corner. At this step, all we need to do is to sew here and here. We'll be working with the seam allowance 3/8, 3/8. It means that it is about 3/8 is 1, 2, 3. It's less than ½ inch, a little bit less. It's about this distance, 3 squares. And seam allowance is usually distance from the edge to the stitch line, which is right here. I will draw a stitch line that we need to sew. So basically, this is the stitch line that we need to make. When I'll be sewing under the sewing machine, I will follow this line. The same here. Make sure that your corners are perfectly matching. Okay, when you do sewing, don't forget to do back tacks. I want you to see the lines, but I advise you to use the matching color thread because you don't want anyone to see on your white fabric black thread. Once you're done this stitch lines, you need to open the stitch lines like this. So this is the shape that you need to get again. So once you're done sewing, you have this shape. All you need to do is open it up, open those corners, make sure that they are even. You can even pin it, like pin right at the stitch so it will not move. One pin here. It will definitely help you make sure that those lines are matching the center of your fabric. And second pin here. Right now what we need to do is to stitch right here a straight line. We do it because you can notice that our chin has a straight line here, and the wider this line depends on how long is your stitch line here, because this area will be right at your chin. So I do not recommend it to go too deep and make a very long stitch line. Just go, I don't know, a little bit like this and sew this much. I can say that this is definitely enough, not more. You can make it even shorter, depends on you, what you find more comfortable. Okay. The second one, I just want to make sure that they are matching. So I will start here and stop right here. I will use my mark. Okay. Don't forget to do back tacks. Okay, it looks good. Here what we got, 2 rectangles are sewn. Let's unpin this. And here is a little bit tricky part. You need to place one side into another side. So basically this is what you have at this moment. So you take this corner, flip it, and insert into the second corner like this. When you insert one into another, you can see that they have to match from both sides, here and here. Again, what I did is I had this shape, so I inserted one corner into another corner. And at this step, try to make sure that the lines are matching. I will pin right in the center. Here. You can see that I try to follow my seam allowance the way it is, because you don't want to have any flip inside of your mask. So it's straight. This one is straight as well. Spend some time making sure that your mask is matching everywhere. Okay, I think this way it aligns better. At this step, once you pin the bottom, you can insert the elastic inside. So take your both pieces of elastic. When you place your elastic, measure from the top, from this fold line, measure down 1.5 inches. One inch and a half. And 1.5 inches on this side. So take your elastic and insert it inside of the mask. Like this. It should not be seen here, it should be inside. And you have to make sure that one end of your elastic is where you put your mark. I have those very convenient, like those things instead of the pins. Especially with this task, it's very comfortable to use them. And from the bottom, I usually mark about, because I don't like this distance to be too long. I want it to be maximum 2-3 inches. So from the bottom, you can mark 1/2 inch and place your elastic. From 1/2 to 1 inch, so somewhere here is good. So you will have this distance, and it should not be here, otherwise it would be too wide and then you will have extra gathering of fabric. So I measured about 3/4. The same on the opposite side. Also, it's important to make sure your elastic doesn't twist inside and it lies flat. Here is my mark. 1.5 inches down. Now grab the second end of your elastic and place it 3/4 above from the corner. All right, so we insert our elastic and we can start stitching. When we will be stitching, we need to stitch it around. And once we're done, we have to turn the right side out. So we have to turn our mask from this hole out, and then all this wrong side will be hidden inside of the mask. To do that, we need to leave this hole. So what I recommend to do, saw till the elastic, do a very good strong back tag, and leave this hole open. Later on, we will close this hole. Again, when you do sewing, do follow this distance, 3/8 of an inch, as our seam allowance. I have sewn around, and now from this hole I will take out my mask, the good side of the mask. It can take some time, so be patient. Try to do it piece by piece a little bit. Oh, by the way, something I forgot to mention. In order to make sure that our corners are, once we turn our fabric, our corners will look perfect and good, I advise to trim it. So basically trim a little bit like this. Make sure you do not cut the thread. Trim each corner. I also like to trim here a little bit because it creates extra bulk. Trim this corner. That's it. So I trimmed everywhere. And now let's turn it. Be careful, do not pull fabric too hard. Now it's time to make sure our corners are perfect. So let's so here, what you got, it already looks like a mask. Not yet. What I usually advise to do is to take something as a pencil, because we want our shape to be correct. So what I usually do, I take pencil, I insert it into the hole that I have on the side, the open one here, and then I just pull the fabric, and especially I pull the corners because I want them to look good. So I just pull like this the fabric inside, and then also push these corners like this. So push here, push at this corner, push at the bottom, and then also this corner that we have trimmed, basically it. Once you're done this, we need to sew around and also like close this hole. So basically, I like to put some pins. So put some pin here, another pin here. This is the time when you have to close this hole and make sure that you follow the same seam allowance. Yeah, that's perfect. So let's close it for now like this. The corners are good. I like to make sure that the line is straight. So I'll pin it here. So we got our mask. So once you have the same shape as I do, all you need to do is to find out which will be front of your mask and which will be back of your mask. Because from the shape and the way it's like perfectly shaped, I think this will be front of my mask. So I'll be wearing it like this. Or you can also like change the side and then see how it looks on this side. So I still think this is better. And this will be my front. So what we need to do is to fold our nose flap, and the nose flap starts where our elastic starts, and this is the distance 1.5 inches. So all we do is we just fold it right where we have elastic, and then we pin it like this, and ideally they should match, and they are matching. This is going to be our nose flap. So what we need to do right now is to sew around. To sew around, it's usually called top stitch, and I'll be sewing something about like 1/8 away from the edge, 1/8 of an inch away. So I will start from this corner, I will go all the way around, and once I hit this corner, I will sew another straight line at the top right here, and this line will be a little bit wider, 1/4 inch down. So first let's sew around here, and then we'll do the top line. Here what we have, this is the inside of our mask and this is outside of our mask. We did the top stitch around, and now we have to secure the top of our flap. Like place it flat first, because you want to make sure that your flap is straight and doesn't have a curve at the top. So lie it flat. Also, the lower layer has to be flat as well, because it has to catch all layers of your fabric. So put some pins as well. And now when you do sewing, if here we used 1/8 of an inch, here, make it a little bit wider, your stitch, because it has to catch all layers of your fabric at the fold line, and go down by 1/4 and sew a straight line. Do not forget to do back tacks. So this is the final result of our mask. Well, you can iron it. Here's the nose flap, and you will place like this on your face. This is the area of your chin. Here's your nose. Enjoy wearing. I'll see you on the workshop.